This is sincere milk of Yahweh Sap, Lion's Den. I camp out with Lion Den Hawan Ben Joshua Water in Jacksonville, Florida. First, I take a prayer to the Father, to the Son, to the elders, to the archons, and to the women and children. Kal Halayam La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Bahashem Ha Rokak Rodash. Mahamah, in the name of Yahweh Shai, in spirit and holy and true. Double honors to the elders of GMS. Double honors to my elder Hawan. Salutations to the archons who are on the four corners of the earth in sincerity and truth. And to the women and children, Shalom. Okay, well, last week, my elder did a lesson on UFOs. And the Spirit moved me, and I said, well, let me do one also. Because they're becoming more and more, I mean, they've always been popular, but more are coming out all over the world, And now, for some time, the Pentagon, NASA, are freaking out. Okay? The title of this lesson, The Great Fearful Day, the UFOs, right? I'm going to pray a little bit, and then I'll get into the lesson. Here we go.
That ship has sailed, by the way, guys. We now have incontrovertible evidence and proof of that. And many government employees, members of the military, all sorts of reports, and individuals who've worked on down craft, reverse engineering of craft. That ship has sailed. Let's move beyond. Let's elevate this conversation beyond. Do they exist? Yes, they do. Yes, they absolutely do. But now the real question is about politics. The real question is about money and power and the use of the UFOs, right? They exist. They're out there. They're from another world. Wherever they come from, we don't know. But now what's happening is the United States and the Pentagon are starting to position this as a way of expanding our military into space even more. Now, China, in a speech yesterday, is accusing the U.S. military of militarizing space. And it all comes down to specifically UFOs. The U.S. military is attempting to turn outer space into a battlefield, China's foreign ministry has said. China accuses the United States of seeking to militarize outer space after the Pentagon issued a new policy document which deemed space a priority domain of national military power. They were speaking to reporters, and they said this was in direct response to what the Pentagon issued in late August. Now, again, what happened in late August is fascinating because the Senate and the Pentagon basically are in alignment on the UAP, the UFO, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to still call it UFOs. I know that the government now wants to call them unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton came out with that and she's like, that's what we're calling them now. It's like, no, Hillary, we're still calling them unidentified flying objects. You can label them however you want. But what happened, interestingly, is that Congress has now pushed towards the idea that we see this as a massive threat and we need to expand exponentially.
Okay. Also, aliens, I think, is a word we don't use any longer.
Aliens.
It's otherworldly beings.
Otherworldly beings. Okay.
Just so you know.
Ridiculous. Now we're even so politically correct with our alien speak. So.
Oh, I like the term otherworldly beings.
I'm still using aliens, yeah.
Okay.
So Congress has admitted a couple of pieces on all of this. Congress, in their new budget for the American Intelligence Services, has directed that the Pentagon focus its UFO investigation on those objects that it can't identify. Here's Vice News. Congress admits UFOs are not man-made. We know that. Right? We know that they are not man-made. And it says that the threat is increasing exponentially. That's the phrase I want you to pay attention to. The threats are increasing exponentially. What threats exactly? They've been here for arguably thousands of years. Now they're a threat. Suddenly they're a threat when we're worried about China and we're worried about Russia now. UFOs are a threat?
They want our...
Exactly.
Nuclear energy.
They want our technology? Are you kidding me? So again, we are,
they
we're
want
like
to go retro.
We're like the Stone Age, right? They're nostalgic. They're like, oh, remember how we were 4,000 years ago in our technology? That's what we want. So Caitlin Johnstone has a really interesting piece, and she writes this. She's anti-war, vehemently anti-war. One of the great thinkers in the anti-war space. She says, who benefits from U.S. government claims that the UFO threat is increasing exponentially, she says. And it's very fascinating. A U.S. Senate report, which is an addendum to the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2023, has people talking due to surprising statements it includes about the U.S. government's current position on UFOs. She says the latest moniker, she says UFO enthusiasts are largely focusing on a part of the addendum which oddly stipulates that the government's newly unidentified aerospace program shall not be looking into objects that are positively identified as man-made. So the whole focus of this new program is they're not going to be looking at man-made objects because of the obvious implications of that phrase. That's understandable, she says. If you've got a government office that's responsible for investigating unidentified phenomenon, then you can just say it won't be looking into phenomenon that are positively identified. You wouldn't have to add identified as man-made unless you had a specific reason for doing so. So she says, what for me really jumps out, authored by the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence is Mark Warner, is the claim that these unidentified aerospace undersea phenomenon are a threat that is increasing exponentially. So Warner says this, he says, at a time when cross-domain trans-medium threats to the United States national security are expanding exponentially, the committee is disappointed with the slow pace of the Pentagon-led efforts to establish the office to address those threats. Now, I had Christopher Sharp on the show a few weeks ago. We talked about this specifically. The Senate is not happy with the Pentagon's slow move on this new UFO identification program. So they're at odds right now. Pentagon versus the Senate and the House of Representatives.
This is like the perfect way to propagandize because it's like social media, we can verify facts on the ground now. We can verify we got reporters in Ukraine, we got reporters in Syria, like we know what's going on. Who's going to be verifying space?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me leave it right there. That's a good one, huh? So as you can see, they're getting very scared and paranoid, and for good reasons, okay? They know what's coming, and they know, the Edomites know who's coming, right? I believe that area of, in the Bible will be a war in heaven. I believe it will be chapter 12, verse 7 to 8. But anyway, I'm going in another direction. I want to go now to Revelation chapter 6, verse 15, all the way to 17. This is what they are very concerned and fearful of. Verse 15, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, right, every slave, every free man, hide themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Okay? Because it's going to come out that day, that great day, that the so-called UFOs, when they're chariots of Yahweh Shai, come with the angels, okay? And they're not going to be singing beautiful heart songs. They're going to be sapping left and right, okay? Killing people, okay? Verse 16, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, Yahweh Shai. That's why they want to get ready in space and make a space force, because they got to do everything they can. The Edomites have to do everything that they can to see if they can stop this, they will call it, I guess, immigration coming through the border, right? I mean, they don't know what to do no more, right? They're concerned also about Russia, right, and China with the, what they call that again? IBCS missiles. Right? My elder did a lesson 3 years ago on that. Okay? And now they have to be concerned also about the so-called UFOs. And they have every right to be. Verse 17, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right? I mean, it's going to be unstoppable. Okay? I want to go to Psalm chapter 2. Give me a minute. Turn my page here. Psalm chapter 2. Verse 2 to 4. It'll be a short lesson. Why do the heathens rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Right? Verse 2. Oh, sorry, that was verse 1. Okay, verse 2. And the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointing. Right? Anointed. Yahweh, saying, verse 3, let us break their bands as under, and cast away their cord from us. Right? Who they talking about? The so-called Negros, Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds. Because look what's happening now. A lot of celebrities are coming out, right, on YouTube, right, and are waking up, Slovakia, that they are Jew, right? And how they're being mistreated by who? The Jewish, right? And it's getting to a point where too much truth is coming out that the Edomites can't hide themselves no more, okay? Verse 4, he that sits in the heavens shall laugh. Yahweh shall have them in derision. Yeah, they don't know what to do no more. So now they're going to have to go. They're going to have to start talking about space so everybody can keep looking up and see if they can make everybody forget, who they are, right? Don't talk about them that they're Edomites, the ones that go around the world raping and robbing and murdering, right? To this day, they're still doing it. I want to go to Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 10. Enter into the rocks and hide thee in the dust for fear of Yahweh and for the glory of his majesty. Yeah. A lot of so-called Negros, Latinos, American speckled birds are going to be hiding. Because when they see these massive so-called U.F.Os, when they're chariots in the Bible, that's what they call, and they see them all over the place in the sky, and how big it's going to be, they are, shooting laser beam left and right, oh man, hell yeah, they're going to be hiding. That fear is going to hit them and hit them hard. I want to go to Isaiah chapter 63. Verse 3. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Verse 3. I have tread the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger and tremble them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my remnants. Verse 4, for the day of vengeance is in my heart and is mine, and the years of my redeem is come. Yeah, he's come to clean house. He's come to claim back his people, so-called Negros, Latinos, Native American speckled birds, right? Which is going to be first 144,000 chosen elect, and 1/3, okay? And 2/3 are going to be left behind because of their wickedness, right? That they want to keep America alive, and they want to, protect, defend, and die for the Edomites. Okay? I only pray and hope that I be one of the 144,000 chosen elect, as well as my Akims and my elder in Lions Den camp. on his camp. So what happened here? I want to go to verse 4. For the day of vengeance, yeah, I already said that. Okay, let me move to, give me a minute. Revelation chapter 14. Here we go, Revelation. Chapter 14, verse 19 and 20. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth and gathered the veins of the earth and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Yahweh. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of bloodshed, a lot of people, a lot of killing. Okay? It's going to be a war that has never been before. They're going to, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, are going to remove this wicked kingdom. Verse 20. And the winepress was tread without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bride, by the space of 1,600 furlong. That will be that's the way they used to measure, I believe, in the old days in England. That would be an eighth of a mile, 220 yards. Okay, so the war that's going on with Russia and China, which is going to only escalate, is going to get worse. Okay, because other countries are going to join them because they're fed up with the Edomites of America. Right? They're still going around the world telling them what to do. Right? Then stealing, raping, murdering. They break treaties all the time. Right? The whole world's fed up with the Edomites. Sickle is a short handle firming tool with a semicircular blade. I tell you, it's going to be a lot of killing, a lot of stabbing, a lot of blood. Okay. Then we go to Jeremiah chapter again. Jeremiah. Gotta go to Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16. And 17. Behold, I will send for many fishers, right? Said Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. Verse 17. For my eyes are upon all their ways. He sees all the wickedness that's been going on in this world. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes. Okay? So who are the hunters? Well, it's going to be the 144,000 chosen elect. Okay? They're going to come back meaner than a bull. Okay? More stronger and mightier than that movie Predator. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna leave it with I'm gonna leave it with Revelation chapter 19, verse 14 to 16. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon the white horse, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Verse 15. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treads the winepress of the furnaceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh. So it's gonna get ugly. That sharp sword is talking about those laser beams coming out of the chariots, so-called UFOs, zapping left and right, disintegrating man, woman, child, baby. Okay, it's gonna get ugly. Verse 16. And he has on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lords of Lords. Okay? So now you know what those so-called UFOs really are. I hope that this was edifying, and with that I'll say Shalom.